Bitcoins and beer, Bitcoins and beer. Here is Norm, he's a storm as he screams and raves and rants. He is here drinking beer, spilling Bitcoins on his pants. Hello, it's me Norm again, here once again to drink beer and rant about Bitcoins. And I know your question, you're thinking, how do I keep these Bitcoins from getting soggy with all this beer? Today's beer, well, it's Christmas time in April. It's it's Anchor Steam Christmas Ale. No, it's actually and Happy New Year, 2013. So it is a 3-year-old beer. It's a quite big beer. I really needed a big beer tonight. Sorry, a long day. I'll be talking about that. I'm gonna pour a little bit more. I've already started drinking it, and I was trying to do a review for my other beer blog, mybeerquest.com. If you're not familiar with it, you can go check it out. I've been doing it since like 2000. Oh gosh, started the blog almost a decade ago. Almost to the month, a decade and a month ago. I started doing the videos 9 years ago. Wow, how fast time travels. And it destroys everything. Well, this one is, I have a tulip glass, fancy glass, but it actually brings out the aroma of the beer. And it tastes like Christmas. Wow. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the psychology of currency. You're probably thinking, what does psychology have to do with currency? And this is why it is so I told you in past rants, it's hard to explain Bitcoin to people because it has to do with economics and computers. I mean, how difficult is that? It's like somebody either understands economics or actually not really, because some of the first computer code was written for economics. I believe, I can't remember the guy's name. I want to say Alan Greenspan. I could be wrong. One of the first government economics person wrote like C, which is basically what all computer code is based off of. And it's like, if this, then that, you have a bunch of rules. You just write a bunch of rules. If this, not that, and yeah, it's like once you understand that, maybe it was C+, he wrote, or C++, I don't know. I want to say Alan Greenspan. I'm probably wrong. I could be wrong. But if anybody knows the answer to that question, please put it down in the comments section. But most of the time they're divorced from each other, and they don't. If you understand economics, you don't understand computer, vice versa. They understand numbers and spreadsheets and stuff like that, maybe flat files, but not so much database administration. So it's very difficult to explain. Like, it was very difficult to explain how the internet works. 20 years ago, people wanted to know how it worked. They didn't want to know what it could do, but now that's the question you should be asking, what it can do, not how it works. Well, currency actually has a lot to do with psychology. Believe it or not, there's a lot of psychology behind currency, and if you do psychology right, you don't know what's being done on you. That's a whole thing about reverse psychology, too. So, here's one of the reasons why I've realized people are so against Bitcoin. It is the psychology of money, because they are so attached to money. But yet they don't know how money works or currency works. They don't know how currency works. They don't know how it's issued. A lot of people actually think we're still on like some sort of Austrian gold standard, which means there's something backing the money that we have, which we used to be, actually. We used to be on a gold standard. But through most of my life, and I'm in my mid-40s, by the way, we have not been on that standard at all. We have not been backed by gold or silver or copper or any precious metals. It used to be like a pound of copper was worth a ounce of silver, and gold and silver always vary, but it was roughly, for the sake of argument, let's say 20 ounces of silver was worth an ounce of gold. Now that is way off. Everything is way off. Thus, 100 pennies was $1, and that was about a pound. 100 pennies was about a pound, and a silver dollar was $1, and then you get like a $20 gold piece or whatever. So, to put it in perspective, this is just a history lesson that you probably, and that's the way it was for thousands of years, since the time of Christ. So, and before him. So, that's just a little history lesson to put in perspective. A lot of people still have that sort of mindset where it's worth money, but now we're on more of a Kensington. Well, it's actually not even Kensington, because Dr. King's, he said the value of the economy was based on the value of the market. But they've done all sorts of things to mutate the market with dividends and derivatives and all these other little, what do you call them? Credit default swaps, which is basically insurance. But, we can't call it insurance because that has too many regulations, so they call it credit default swaps. But it's basically insurance without the regulations. And when you take away the regulations, then, that's what you take away the safety. Glass-Steagall took away a lot of regulations that caused the reason why those were put in place was because of the crash of 29, and they took away a lot of the regulations so they can just make more money. Granted, you have more risk, you have more wealth, or you have more gain. But these people won't play if they can't cheat. So they write into all these legislation and laws that let them legally cheat and gain this gain, where we have no access to that stuff, by the way. But the little person, as Jim Comiskey calls us, the Muppets, no access to that. So they have to get us to use their money that it's backed by debt, basically. And let's say you for the sake of argument, this is way undervalued. You borrow money to buy a house, and I'm trying to do this in numbers you would understand. So let's say although you can't, it'd be impossible to buy a house for $200,000, but you have to borrow $200,000 buy a house, whatever. That's more like a price of a sports car, but I think it works the same way with car loans. But student loans are another story I don't even want to get into. But let's say you have to borrow $200,000 to get a house, and then they print up that money, and basically, so your economy's worth that much more. But you're paying interest on that, aren't you? So you're constantly in a state of inflation at that point. With more of an Austrian sort of standpoint, you have $200,000 worth of gold in the bank, so you get $200,000. It's backed on what the goods are. So this weekend, or this week, maybe it was Monday. I think because China's market started on Sunday. First of all, the precious metal markets have been manipulated for a long time, and I know that's been the talk of conspiracy theorists and all this stuff. And a lot of people have been saying, "Oh yeah, if you believe that, you're a conspiracy theorist." But actually, last week, I don't know if it was Friday, it was sometime then last week, Deutsche Bank came out and said, "Yeah, we have been doing it, and we're going to." Well, Deutsche Bank's in big trouble. First of all, I saw this months ago. First of all, when their CEO left, and then their CFO, I think I even had a rant about this, said he was going to leave after 6 months. So this must have been more than 6 months ago because their CFO already left. The two top people in the company had left when the captain jumped ship, and then the other one jumped ship. The captain's supposed to go down with the ship, but when they jump ship 6 months early, and they see something, they see the iceberg that you may not see. Maybe they have the radar, and you have a telescope, but they see something. Deutsche Bank is one of the freaking biggest banks in the world, and most of the big banks that got bailed out in 2008, it never really fixed the problem. The bailout wasn't really a fix, by the way. It wasn't even a Band-Aid, because the Band-Aid covers things up, but you rip off the Band-Aid, you still have infested sore there. So that happened to us in 2008 in the United States. This is a German bank, one of the biggest banks in the world. Their CEO left months ago, like over half a year ago. Their CFO left. Don't you think? They left voluntarily. They saw an iceberg coming. I'm digressing from actually the point of psychology, and currency is what she said. Oh gosh, but there's so much freaking stuff going on in this. Okay, psychology of currency. They want you to believe there's value in this thing. This thing right here. It's just paper, actually. It's just paper. It's printed paper. And they put a bunch of stuff on it to make... Oh, there's George Washington. He's so honest, He chopped down a cherry tree. False story, by the way. In God we trust. And you think they put that in there because you're so virtuous and you worship your God, and you know what that's there for? On the almighty dollar, that's so you worship this. And believe me, I know Christians. Actually, I know people of many religions that have many different gods that put this over their God. I don't know if that's a psychology thing right there, but they'll do things for this that they will not do for their God. Just putting that out there. Think about it. Will you do things for this that you will not do for your God? Then whose slave are you? Are you a slave to this? Which is issued by your freaking government. Who do you belong to? You need to be set free. You think you own property. That's a good thing, right? But they keep on increasing the price of the land. That's great because I'll be able to sell it for this much, but you're going to be raising property tax. You don't pay those property taxes, owners are going to take it back from you. You're renting everything. You're not. Don't own any property. You can't own property in the United States. Originally, taxes were not supposed to happen. You weren't supposed to be able to be taxed on anything. Taxes came about over 100 years after we were already created. At World War One, we had to pay for the war. Okay. We're paying for freaking war. They're creating this war to go on so we can pay taxes. But then they started paying for... the federal government was only supposed to make money on two things when it first was invented as this democratic republic, constitutional republic, sorry. You can't have it's a constitutional republic. It's not even a democratic republic, because democracy is two wolves and a sheep fighting over what's for dinner. But it's mob rules, basically. But we first tariffs, which, oh gosh, where are the tariffs at? That's the number one thing they were supposed to make money off. Tariffs. Product coming in. Yes, now, it's cheaper to outsource things to China than it is to... So tariffs are no longer on the table. And U.S. postage stamps. Well, the internet destroyed kind of that. And then they let, third parties like UPS and, FedEx and all those places take over that. So they don't even have control over that anymore. Ask yourself, is this the country that you grew up in, that learn history? Watch Dan Carlin, listen to Dan Carlin, Hardcore History. Maybe you'll understand what I said. Maybe I'm just rambling and you really don't understand a word I'm saying. But we're almost in 20 minutes. One of my longest videos. Yeah. It's actually not going to be that long, hopefully. But cheers. A Satoshi saved is Satoshi earned. Learn the value of money. Is what you're spending worth what you pay for it? Think about it. Think about it. Because we all spend money we don't have to buy things we don't need to impress people we don't like, right? Cheers. Satoshi saved, Satoshi earned.